Okay, I've lived in the Tampa area for 4 years now. We're gonna talk about the 3 biggest changes that I've seen in those 4 years. Here we go. I'm Sam, and this is the Living in Tampa channel, where we make these videos for you about what it's like to live and move to the whole area. We're also a team of real estate agents, and we'd love an opportunity to be your real estate choice in this area. So if you're looking to buy, sell, invest, anything, we'd love to hear from you. You can call, text, or email anytime after you reach out. What we'll want to do is set up a Zoom call or phone call, just process your situation and see how we can best help. Okay, so I've been thinking about this. What have been the biggest changes I've seen in the area, in the market, in the perception? I want to hit on these 3 things. Number 1, I want to talk about attention. I have little kids. We're focusing. We're working on paying attention at our house. So this word really stands out to me. There's a lot of attention on the Tampa area. It seems to be very black and white often. Let's start with the attention of people wanting to live here. People want to live here. People actively choose to live here. They look for jobs here. They're not just like randomly picking a place on the map and not having a job. At least we don't really talk to those people. And the people that we do talk to, they want to live here. They find a job here, or they, arrange something to where they can work remotely, and then they make the move. So that's the first. People do want to live here. There's attention for that. Next, people want to invest here. Tampa, the whole Tampa market has been talked about as one of the top areas to invest, especially in short-term rentals. Now, it is kind of quirky where you're allowed to do them and not allowed to do them, but it's not impossible. They're still very easy to find. Now, making sure they're profitable with the rates this high is a little more challenging than it was in 2020, 2021, but still doable. Especially if you have a really good co-host. I have a friend that does that and really helps people make their Airbnbs way more profitable. Okay, next, this is kind of like 2 sides of the same coin. People either love it or hate it. People either want to come on vacations here, or they think that Tampa and Florida is about to bust. I hear the opposite ends of that. People either think it's the perfect weather, or it's swamp filled with gators and it's dangerous. It's both sides of that, which is kind of interesting. It's not kind of middle ground. It's not it seems kind of cool. I hear the extremes all the time. Now we're in an election year. We could just be hearing extremes in everything around us. But I noticed this recently. I even have friends that considered making the move. Now they're I can't believe I thought about that. It's way too hot. There's freaking wild animals everywhere. So now we're on Instagram sending each other crazy gator stuff because he thinks there's gators everywhere. I'm just gonna make it seem even worse because he's not moving anyway. But it's not so extreme in general. I grew up small town, middle America in Oklahoma, and this is actually kind of similar to that in a lot of ways. Most people just want to be left alone. They don't have super strong opinions on either side. So I don't know how I got on that bunny trail, but the extremes kind of tire me. If you like it, great. If you don't, that's fine too. Come visit. Not in the middle of summer. It's August 15th right now, 16th. It's super hot, humid. A lot of our clients that are under contract right now or have active listings, so many ACs went out last week because it's been so humid that the drain line gets clogged. Then it kind of builds up. It's kind of funny. But it was last week, 6 of them had clogged drain lines. Okay, the next big change I've seen, super high-end developments. Now this started back with the Water Street development. That's kind of the real tipping point I see when Vinnick, who owns the hockey team down there, brought in money from Bill Gates, brought in these other investors to do this big Water Street development. Now, if you've been to some other kind of cities that have grown recently, I think of Austin, downtown Austin, all of a sudden is super nice. Water Street is kind of that representation. One big block, 2 blocks where it's they're doing everything, condos with Michelin star restaurants underneath and layers and layers of stuff like that to make it a really cool area to live and work and play. It's kind of cheesy. I don't even know if that's a slogan they use, but it's they're kind of making a downtown spot that people really love. So the next one to go up in downtown Tampa is One Tampa. They actually just started development on that. There's other buildings like this. I'm just giving an example of a couple of these. Another one down on Bayshore Boulevard, so a little south of downtown in South Tampa, The Ritz-Carlton did a big condo tower, sold it out before they finished it. They actually finished it very recently. It sold so fast, they started selling out a second one. So they're gonna build a second one right next to it. So right on Bayshore Boulevard, you can see these shots of it. It's super beautiful spot right there on Bayshore Boulevard. It's the longest continuous sidewalk in the country. It's an interesting spot. Awesome food right behind there as you go up to like South Howard, all throughout South Tampa, easy access to downtown. It's a really cool spot. Okay, then downtown St. Pete. These buildings have been being built there too. 400 Central is a great example. I think the Waldorf Astoria building that they're talking about for the area is actually gonna be in St. Pete. There's the developer in Miami that's built this really cool tower over there. They've approved one for over here. And it's going to be one of the tallest residential towers in the state. I think it's the tallest one on this coast. Super cool. Another area that's gonna have more of this high-end stuff is right now where the West Shore Mall is, which is just south of the airport. This big mall that's kind of abandoned, it's kind of confusing. Used to be a really nice mall, and then they built the International Plaza on the east side of the airport, so West Shore Mall is not really a very popular spot. They're gonna tear down this whole mall, build like a really nice outdoor mall. This is just on the north side of a really cool area in South Tampa. Kennedy Boulevard runs right along there. This is just on the north side of Kennedy. It will really kind of revitalize that area. There's gonna be high-end shopping, high-end residences, food, dining, all that kind of stuff right there. Next high-end development is the new Rays Stadium in St. Pete. So the Rays kind of shopped around to see, where they could get the best stadium, the most local money, the best tax incentives, blah, 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 as these teams do when their contract's up. So they're building this giant stadium in downtown St. Petersburg with all kinds of pedestrian areas, all kinds of housing around it, all kinds of attractions right in this one area. You can see some of the renderings here. Some of the final plans are starting to get approved by the building departments. They're gonna start moving forward with this really soon. This is going to be a big deal for this area to have a brand new stadium, one of the most expensive baseball stadiums in the country at the time of building. That's kind of how it all are. Like whenever you build one, it's the most expensive, and then next year, a different team built one, it's the most expensive. It's kind of how hurricanes are too. This hurricane is the most expensive ever because the dollar is inflated and, costs go up. Labor costs go up, material costs go up, all that kind of stuff. So Rays Stadium is gonna be huge. Number 3, biggest change I've seen in 4 years. I'm calling this the outer ring growth. So whenever I first moved here in 2020, everybody was talking about Epperson, this big master plan community in Wesley Chapel, kind of on the north side of Wesley Chapel. They had this big crystal lagoon, big 7-acre clear lagoon. Those master plan communities are, a feature in this. And we'll talk about a couple others that this same developer is building right here in the Tampa area. But this growth of this outer ring is really what I'm talking about. So you have these like central parts. Central parts are like Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater. And then as you go one circle out, if you check out the suburbs explained video, I talk about this a bit more. One circle out is like the original suburb. So like we'll use Tampa as an example. You have Tampa, you go out one layer, you have Carrollwood and West Chase and some of these suburbs that were built in the 80s and 70s, 80s, 90s. You go a little further out, you get out to New Tampa, you get in a little bit of Lutz. You go another layer out, you're out into the edges of Wesley Chapel, you're out into Riverview down to the southeast. The circle just kind of keeps growing. That outer ring of it is just gonna grow more and more. So Epperson added on Murata. These kind of, same developer, Metro Places, built both these neighborhoods. They're kind of connected. They're kind of talked about in the same vein. Murata has the biggest lagoon of all of these. And I've heard some stories about the guy that was in charge of the development actually just wanted to have the biggest lagoon, and that's why it's so big. Actually, I've built a relationship with the company that builds those lagoons. We're gonna do a little bit of behind the scenes at one of these neighborhoods. So that's that side, the northeast side of the Tampa area, going up not just Wesley Chapel, but up into San Antonio. Now, as you go a little farther west of that, in Land O'Lakes, on the north side of Land O'Lakes, you have Angeline. These areas just kind of keep growing. So then let's follow that circle around to the east side. As you get over there by Plant City, as you're heading that way, right on the county line, you have 2 rivers, which is gonna actually cross the county line. It's kind of interesting. Some of it, they'll start some in Pasco County, then they'll build some into Hillsborough County too. Then as you go further south into Parrish, into Manatee County, the same developer, Metro Places, that built Epperson and Murata, and they're building Angeline. Metro Places is building Sea Air down in Parrish. We've started selling some houses down there. They just started on the lagoon there. We'll probably do some behind the scenes videos at that specific lagoon as they build it. I'm curious kind of their process, why they do it the way they do it, why are some public and some are not, like all those kind of things. But that outer ring of the Tampa area is growing more and more. And it's crazy to think like that county is kind of the outer ring now. Because a lot of people would think like, no, that's not even part of the Tampa MSA, the Metropolitan Statistical Area. When you look that up, it's not. That county is not part. But we have clients that buy in that county, in that specific neighborhood, because it's equidistant to Tampa and St. Petersburg. Now all of a sudden they have both options of those areas to visit, both options of those areas to work in, travel out of, all those kind of things. So those outer rings are just continuing to grow. I'm curious how far they'll grow. How close will Tampa get to Bradenton and Sarasota? How close will Tampa get to Lakeland? How close will Tampa get to Spring Hill, Ocala? All this is actually really interesting to me as these like circles expand out. In the Tampa area, they can only expand a few ways because the water is on one side, not just the Tampa Bay, but the Gulf of Mexico. So this outer ring growth is super interesting to me. But I also want to hit population growth real quick. The population in Tampa is not growing faster than it has in the past 40 years. So when you look back, the population in Tampa was around 1.5 million. It started growing about 2% per year. That has steadily slowed down. Right now it's growing about 1% per year. It was a little faster the past couple years, but not relatively. When you look at the whole scale, it actually all makes sense. The population is just growing and that growth is slowing down percentage-wise. Now that doesn't mean the number of people is slowing down. Florida's gonna keep growing. Tampa area is gonna keep growing, and we need more housing around these outer rings to accommodate that. So interesting cycles that I'm seeing as I've been here a little bit, but I haven't been here very long. So excited to see how all this develops in the future. Any questions you have, we'd love to hear from you. If you got value from this video, please give us a call, text, or email. We'd love to just connect a bit more and see how we can help you with your specific situation. Thanks for coming by.